Implementing Google Workspace for education has been a challenge for most schools in Nigeria, and this is as a result of their comfort in the normal traditional way of learning and less ideas in what to do with the tools provided by Google Workspace for education. In this video, I'll be showing you 10 tips of how to implement Google Workspace for education in your school for a successful hybrid learning program. Don't forget to like, share, and then hit the subscribe button. Google Workspace is a set of cloud-based collaborative, creativity, and productivity tools developed by Google. It involves Google Documents, Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Drive, and so many other tools developed by Google that can be used in classroom. Now I'll be showing you individually how these tools can be implemented in your school. Google Classroom is one of Google Workspace for Education family that allows teachers and students to connect and collaborate on what I like to call the replica of your physical classroom. And Google Classroom is equipped with an automated grading system that allows the teacher at the end of the day to have the total grade of the students and the students to track their work as they go. Now, what can you do with Google Classroom? So in Google Classroom, the teachers can practice what we call flipped learning, whereby the teachers can send in the materials for learning for the next day or the next week or the next semester in their classroom, that the students can go and view these materials, and the teachers can even include links that the students can follow these links and read more and understand more. Even YouTube links and video links can be added to Google Classroom so the students can understand more of what the teachers can be talking about. So flipped learning is one very, very important way of using Google Classroom. Google Classroom also has the ability to have classworks. So the teachers can also use Google Classroom to administer classwork, instant classwork to the students, whether or not the students are present in the class with them physically. So if the students are present in the class physically, the teacher probably must have posted a classwork and probably saved it on draft. And then at the time of the classwork in the class, the teacher can now instruct the students to jump on Classroom and then have this assessment. So it's another way of engaging the students even if they are physically present in your school. Now the next is assignments. In this assignment, I'm going to be talking about both Google Classroom and Google Forms. Now, Google Forms is a online survey tool that allows you and your students to exchange feedback and grade those feedbacks. So in Google Forms, you can practically exchange any kind of a feedback. For example, you can have your CBT essays, you can have your subjective questions, objective questions, any kind of questions you normally have in your school, you would have that in your Google Forms. And Google Forms is correlated or interconnected with your Google Classroom. So all you need to do is to get on your Google Classroom and then set the questions or connect it with your Google Forms, and then at the end of the day, you're having a computer-based or an instant grade release, a kind of quiz for your students. So that is another way, a very important way of connecting with your students using Google Classroom and Google Forms. Now the next is assignment. You may be used to the normal grade calculation that has to do with having a result portal or edu portal on your website. Now, if you're using Google Classroom, you won't be needing that. Google Classroom has an awesome way of calculating grades at the end of the day for your students to have and easy for your teachers to use. The issues with the former that I mentioned that has to do with something on your website would require you to always work with developers from time to time. But if you're using Classroom effectively, you won't be needing any developers. This would be your teachers versus your students. Now with Google Classroom, you can easily, if you decide to have your assessments online, now you give, it doesn't matter whether you're in a physical location or whether you are at home. So you decide to give all your continuous assessments or most of your continuous assessments online using Google Classroom. Google Classroom has an awesome way of calculating these grades at the end of the day so that you would have a total spreadsheet the same way it would have been in your learning management system, the same way it would have been on your website. You would have it even better on your Google Classroom. At the end of the day, the teachers can easily export it to sheets and convert it to PDF and then as well send to their students via email. So you still receive your results online and you're not incurring any extra charges or extra costs on yourself. So Google Classroom is a very, very good way of calculating grades. One very vital tool in the Google Workspace family is the Google document, popularly known as Docs. Now, Docs is very, very important for both students and teachers. I'm going to start with the teachers. For teachers, Docs can be used as a word processing tool that allows the teachers to create lesson notes, lesson plans, and any kind of document that they want to create for the students. So, and Google Documents, compared to other word processing tools like we have the XPSF, the WPS, the Microsoft Word, and several others. Personally, I've come to see Google Documents as personally created for the teacher. So it's easier for the teacher to navigate Google Documents than some of these other word processing programs. With Google Documents, you can easily use things like voice typing. The teachers can use voice typing when they don't have much, let's say, strength, or maybe when they have a lot of documents to create at the same time. They can use voice typing, and they can use several other add-ons and tools that have been integrated into Google Documents to easily create a document for themselves. So for teachers, they can create their lesson notes, their lesson plans, and of course, Google Documents has the best collaborative tools. So if you are a teacher and you are having a class with some other teacher and you have to co-create a document for the students, so you can both be working on the same document, or if you're 3 or 5, depending on how much you are, you can both be working on the same document without any disturbances. So that's what you can use Google Documents for as a teacher. Now we're going to show you what you can do with Google Document as a student. You can use Google Documents to collect the creative work of your students. So you can have creative writing sessions for your students where they can go on their documents and type in and then submit to you as the teacher online. You could also use Google Documents for collecting group work and group assignments. So you can decide to give a particular group of students a work to do, and they will all collaborate in Google Documents instantly at the same time on the same document and create a work together and then submit. So it's another way of getting feedback, instant feedback, without actually being physically or virtually present. You could just have that collaboration feature on Google Document, allow you communicate easily with your students. And Google Document also has review history, so you could know which student made which changes to the document and how they all made their contributions to the document. So it's very, very important way of you to get your students involved. A very important tool that has been mostly neglected in the Google Workspace family is Google Sheets. Now, Google Sheets is a data analytic tool that will allow this time around not just your teachers and your students. Google Sheets can be used for administration. Now, with Google Sheets, you can have things like your inventory. You can use Google Sheets to keep inventory, accurate inventory. You can use Google Sheets to keep your records, accurate records, and with proper access control. So you can actually have a one side, uploader and the other side of approval. So the normal workflow system could come in using Google Sheets. Okay, so it's very, very vital. If you don't use Google Sheets, trust me, it's one thing you need to start using. Google Forms and Google Sheets can be integrated and can be used as a proper way of keeping records, inventory, timing, attendance, any kind of records you want to keep. Google Forms and Google Sheets would help you get that sorted out. So bye-bye to all those long files in your administrative offices. Right now, you can have a straight up and easy file processing system in your Google. Google Meet is a video conferencing tool that is part of the Google Workspace for Education family. Google Meet allows you to have virtual meetings, okay, and that is the most popular, I believe, that people use for their virtual meetings when it comes to Google Workspace. Now, Google Meet allows you to have this long distance stuff with your students. Now, how it can be very important, because, okay, now you're back to school. You might not, if you are in places where you really don't need Google Meet right now, means you're in school, there are ways you can still integrate Google Meet. So you can decide to cut down on every day you come to school. You can decide to have things like most schools have Saturday lessons or Friday lessons, all these extracurricular lessons that would normally have to come after and outside the normal school hours. So you can decide to have all these lessons now online. Very, very important way of having these things online. Okay, instead of coming physically to the school, you can now just have it online. The students at their homes, the teacher at their homes, and it's very flexible to administer. So Google Meet is a very, very important way of having that solved for you. And of course, you can have it for your PTA meetings with your parents and also your regular teachers meeting that you would normally have to come physically present. And of course, all those things are recorded. Google Calendar is a time management software that allows you to schedule and put things in place the way they are supposed to be. So normally in the school setting, you would have your academic calendar. Now, the good thing is that you can have that academic calendar online with proper information for each of those activities. You can share it with your students, you can share it with your parents, you can also share it with your staff. So it's very, very important. And one good thing with Google Calendar is that you can receive notifications, smart notifications. So imagine I have an event where I have like an open day coming up in October or November, whenever time it is in the year. We could pre-plan it in our Google Calendar and share it with our parents, because open day has to do with them, and also for our teachers. And then let's say like 1 week before the time, they are reminded that open day comes up. Okay, so, and even the day of the event, they can be reminded that open day also comes up. So it's very, very important way for you to put things together, and put things in motion. Google Workspace for Education being a cloud-based computing tool, it means there is a back end for everything that you're doing. Now, the awesome thing in Google Workspace for Education for schools is that you have what we call your Google Drive. Your Google Drive is just like your memory card, your hardware storage, those storage devices that you would normally have on a physical platform. Google Drive is an online storage space for your school provided by Google. Now, if you were using the normal Google platform that you had the normal Gmail account without the Google Workspace account, you'll be having free 15 gig storage, right? That would be nice to use, okay? But as a school, it's awesome. With all your files and documents online now, you can have unlimited storage space on Google, okay? Yeah, unlimited. So think about it. What you can do with unlimited storage space for both your students and for your teachers. Okay, you should be wowed right now. So everything, your videos that you're saving online, nothing is going to be lost. Okay? All the things your students are submitting, nothing will be lost. Everything is saved, and you don't have to keep paying for that storage space. So it is free for you to use in Google Workspace for Education. It is for you to enjoy. You can connect with us on social media, all social media platforms at eSchool Now. At eSchool Now. Very easy. And also, you can contact us via our emails or through the numbers on your screen or on the comment section, on the description section. It's going to be easy for us to get in contact with you and know what you want and tailor a program directly for your school. So we're waiting to hear from you soon enough. Thank you so much for being here today, and see you next time.